Okay, we're going to look at problem number 10. So problem number 10 reads, a helicopter speed increases from 25 meters per second to 60 meters per second in 5 seconds. What is the acceleration of the helicopter? So we're given a few numbers, 25 meters per second, 60 meters per second, and 5 seconds. The easiest is time. So we know time is measured in seconds. So we have 5 seconds as the time. And so here we have to read what's happening. The speed increases from 25 meters per second to 60 meters per second. So our starting is where we start from. So we're going to say the initial VI is 25 meters per second, and our final VF is 60 meters per second. Here, the question asks us, what is the acceleration? So we're going to find A, our acceleration. Okay, for our diagram, we have a helicopter. So helicopters, when they fly, they have to point a little bit forward. So those are our two helicopters. We're going to say the initial velocity of the helicopter when it starts to accelerate is 25 meters per second. We know it's accelerating forward because it's starting to speed up. It says the speed increases. So A is going to be our unknown. We don't know what the acceleration is. That's what we're trying to find. So our final velocity is going to be the 60 meters per second, and the change between these two is our delta t, our change in time, which is 5 seconds. Okay. So for our equation, we're trying to solve for A, our acceleration. So we know that A is going to be equal to our final velocity minus initial velocity all over our delta t. So since we're solving for A, since we're trying to find A, we don't need to rearrange this. We're going to just leave it as it is and plug in VF, VI, and delta t. So A is going to be equal to VF, 60 meters per second, minus VI, 25 meters per second, divided by our delta t, which is 5 seconds. So we do 60 minus 25. So 60 minus 25 plus 5 is 30. 30 plus 30 would give us 60. So the difference between these two should be 35. So we have 35 meters per second divided by 5 seconds. So our answer A is going to be 35 meters per second, or 35 meters per second squared. You could write either of these. So we say this as meters per second, or meters per second squared. This is a positive acceleration, so we want to show that it's positive by putting a plus sign in front of it. So positive 35. Oops. All right. I don't want to re-record this. When we divide this out, 35 divided by 5, we get 7 meters per second squared. So we're going to change this to 7. And this is 7. Because we divide 35 by 5. Sorry, I always do these in one take. I messed up. So it should be 7.